Welcome to Money Talk Viewpoint. I'm Chantel Leeson. We're a talk show for financial professionals that specialize in working with business owners, family-owned businesses, and family office. And so I have a myriad of guest speakers that come on and talk about different aspects of the industry. Today, I have a CPA, and it's Marie Torossian. So she's going to tell us about what she does as a CPA. And let me start with, Marie, thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you, Chantel. I'm excited to be here.
And we're glad, I think it's a very important point because when you're a small business trying to get started and you're trying to get yourself a presence online,
yes,
it's easy to flip around and check to see what other people are doing. And everybody's giving you advice, and some of that advice is really not the most effective. It sounds good. And
yeah.
Yes, and another thing is that because we are in a service business, what may be effective for someone who's selling lipstick or dancing or whatever, may not be effective for someone in a more serious conservative industry, such as what you're doing.
Absolutely, Chantel. I'm glad you brought that up. And for example, in a retail or product-based company, it's easier to visually showcase. Here, for example, here's a beautiful mug, it says love, love is the answer, like you can showcase this, you can drink it, you can make a video, like there's just so much more you can do with it. When it comes to a serious CPA business or like a business like yours, where we're talking about financial numbers, I can take out and showcase somebody's stuff. All I can do is provide the information in a general setting, giving examples in a high level way. And connect in the sense that building that trust, right? That I know what I'm talking about, right? So for us, it's very different than someone who's selling products. So that was a big time like shift. It took me so long to figure it out. But that's what I focus on right now, is delivering content that builds trust with whoever's engaging with that content.
And the other thing I want to add to that is that not only the trust, is also knowledge and skill, because there are a lot of people that talk about how they trade securities or how they match their numbers for their taxes. But when we're talking about serious business, I like to have people on my show like you that are knowledgeable, because clients are out there looking for someone that can help them make decisions, financial decisions, investment decisions, tax decisions. And there's so many people out there. They found something online to how to do it. They found something online on how to do the other thing. And yet they don't have, I call, substantive knowledge of what they're doing.
Yes.
And that makes a difference when you're talking to people. So I really appreciate you bringing that up in your presentation here. Let me ask you, how do you balance your life with your business life, your professional life and your business life, personal life?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a mom. I have two young kids, 10 and 4.5, and I have my husband, I have my parents, thankfully that they're still with me. So it does take a lot of effort and commitment to managing the time. And that's something that I felt like I was pretty good at, but I've added on to that skill as well. I calendar everything from the moment I wake up. So for example, I start my day with, of course, my coffee and my prayers, right? So I'm reading my Bible, I'm doing my meditation, my prayers. So that sets my mind for success every morning. And then if it's school time, I'm prepping kids, school lunches, whatever, getting them dropped off, go to the office. My day is fully booked pretty much 2 weeks out. And that's because I want to know what's happening at all times. So I can look out and be very specific. If I can attend the meeting, I know exactly I can, or if I can't. So everything is scheduled, including, let's say in the evening, I pick up the kids usually from school, and then we all go to do our Taekwondo practice, which also helps us with discipline and staying fit. So we try to make it a family time, business time, but everything is scheduled. And it seems like maybe for some people that it's too controlling, but we all have the same amount of time. So how do I maximize the time that I have is by controlling it, by locking the time so that I know exactly what I'm doing at all times.
Well, you have to do that. If you don't monitor and manage your time, it's going to run away from you. I know that when I don't manage I tell you what I found myself doing, because I have the talk show, I have a second talk show I'm launching. If I don't make myself calendar these things in, I won't have time to prepare for each speaker. And I have to
Absolutely.
prepare for speakers. So I want to prepare for you. I do the background. We have a background check on our speakers. We want to make sure we have quality people. That takes time to do that.
Of
So these
course.
shows have to be edited and, put a little music in the background before we put them on for our YouTube channel. So, and if you don't take your time, you'll miss dinner, you'll miss lunch, you'll miss the family. So you have to take time for
Absolutely.
things. You have to calendar that
Absolutely.
in.
Yeah. And discipline is super important. And I think majority of people, they don't have that. Like, for example, it's so funny because I have one of my coaching clients that I was actually coaching him earlier today. And again, see, like, I can't say names or whatever, but I can tell you the sample because it happens to many. He's a CEO. He is developing multiple buildings for real estate, and so he was showing me his calendar and he's like, Maria, I'm still struggling with time. I don't know what to do with my time. I feel like I have no goals, even though we have set general goals. He's like, I don't know what to do during the way. I have a few meetings this week, but what else? Like, I'm just not sure. So most people don't have discipline. I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. You want a planning time. Let's start blocking time for every morning. You're going to do planning. We're going to do a specific time for your training and workouts because he wants to stay fit. We're going to end the day with a very specific focus time where you wrap up everything so you feel in control and ready for the next day. So we had to plug in these stuff, and most people, CEO level, managing multiple businesses, they're struggling on creating discipline to manage their time. And that's part of the work that I do as a coach as well, because that is so important to maximize your time to make the biggest impact. So just a quick example on how it works.
Well, you segued into something very interesting here, and I want to ask you about that because it's on the wall, the 10X coaching. Tell us about this. I see Cardone certified, and I am a follower of Cardone, Grant Cardone. Give the audience a little bit about, for those who don't know who Grant Cardone is, let's talk about who Grant Cardone is, what you're doing, and why it's so important to have the right kind of support system like Grant Cardone behind you.
Absolutely. So Grant Cardone is my mentor. I became a student back in October of 2020. And that's because, marketing and sales was not my forte. And as a CPA, not knowing how to actually discuss the value that I'm bringing as a service provider, a professional service provider, Grant has been very instrumental. So for those who don't know, Grant Cardone is a 30-year veteran, master salesperson, a billionaire. He has massive real estate that he's built out, and of course a big philanthropist as well. So what I did was, he recently, a few years ago, he launched his license program where you can become a 10X certified business coach, speaker, and mentor, and be able to train others with his material so he can expand it. So as a CPA, as one of his students that made so much progress with his material, so I was like, okay, that is the next step for me. I've always wanted to coach, and this brought the opportunity. So I became a certified coach back in September of 2022. Launched my second business, the Profit Lab, and that's where I do my coaching. So yeah, it's been super exciting to kind of switch, instead of, let's say, doing the accounting myself, to actually coaching others with all areas of operations, finance, marketing, and sales.
I also want to add to that for a